This story time is a little bit more straightforward to explain than maybe the first. Well, the other one that I did. Um, so there was this guy I was talking to on Grinder, and he was from you know, Perksky. Which, if you're not familiar with what Perksky is in Pennsylvania, so there's like Philadelphia, the city, and then there's like Perksky, which is like the far suburbs. And this is what I was talking about in that first video where I'm like the suburbs being like really dense, like that really dense like suburban uh type location is that kind of location where like if you go to it with like someone's house and you try to leave, like you're kind of stuck there unless you have a lift to come get you. So that's what ended up happening with me. Now thankfully I had money to do it because I never go anywhere without like money and stuff like that. And there's a reason. Um so yeah, I've got a yawn. So, what ended up happening was that I was texting him, and before when I texted him, I couldn't really reach him. So that kind of is a red flag. But like, at the time when I was messaging him, I kind of was explaining to him, I'm like, I'm telling you, when I get down here, when I decide to leave to go see you, it's gonna take me an hour and some change because I'm all the way in the city with no car, coming to see you. And I explained this to him and stuff, and he saw my pictures and stuff. So he got a chance to know who I was, but like, I guess he didn't like the blonde hair, but I'll explain that in a second. So, about an hour and a half goes by. I get there around like 4:40ish or whatever. Um, and his house was there, and then there was like an ice cream shop across from the street, basically. So, there's the ice cream shop, and then like a block of, and then across the street is his house. So his house was there. Um, I saw him for the first time. Finally saw him, and he appeared to have been like of African, like might have been an African foreigner of some sorts. I couldn't really tell, but I'm very certain he was, because he had like a really deep. It was like a thick African accent or whatever. Um, and his energy was very weird. How it went was like he would ask me about like, the typical questions people ask you, like almost like it was like a questionnaire or something. Like first when he had saw me, he didn't really say anything. Like he kind of just didn't say anything, right? He didn't say anything, um, much. It just was his energy was just very like quiet and very uncomfortable. And that's the thing with me, right? I don't like when like I go to talk to someone. Like it's already hard enough on Grinder. You go to meet somebody, like you go to someone's house to kind of date and stuff. It's already like I guess quote unquote unsafe doing that. So you're gonna have me come to your house, and I'm looking as good as I am. I looked good as hell that day, and you're going to make me uncomfortable by not talking, not saying anything. That's already a red flag in my book. But again, I'm not somebody that just cuts people off right away. Like I give you chance or chance of a chance, until it's like you do that one thing. So first thing he kind of notices when he sees me, he's like, "Oh, you look different from your pictures." I'm like, "I don't look different." Like here's the thing, my pictures were like, um, you know, my old pictures. I used my old pictures with my black hair. The reason I did that is because I noticed a lot of people don't like black guys rocking blonde hair, even platinum blonde for that matter. So people are very picky for that. But I also think that's kind of such a petty thing to give a shit about because it's just hair. If you don't like it, I don't know. Like, maybe ask me if I could change the color or not, or just don't fucking talk to me, or say you're not interested. But I don't know. But he couldn't do that because I'm there. But yeah, he was like, "You look different from your photos. You look different." Like calling me kind of a catfish, which I didn't like. I kind of found that kind of distasteful. Like at first I brushed it off, but I kind of found it distasteful in a way because it was like you're so concerned about my hair being blonde and having a different style and having the shape up that like you just can't take it anymore. I don't know, it was so weird, but yeah, we talked for like a little. It was so awkward, even more awkward because he was like on the phone talking to somebody else, not giving me his time and attention. Because the least you could do if I'm not, because it's not like you had to pay for anything. Like I showed up on my own time, on my own accord. You didn't have to pay for any lifts. I traveled on my own time. Yes, I was late, but I took care of everything by myself, travel wise. I made sure my ass was there, and I was communicating with him the whole time, the whole time. But he's on his phone with this random guy that speaks Spanish or whatever, and I don't even know what's going on. Don't even know what he's talking about. So he's just on the phone for like an hour, and then he's like going in the other room and talking, just making things hella awkward, more awkward for me. But yeah, then when he gets off the phone, he just asks me questions about my life and stuff. He's like, "So you're from where are you from?" And I said, "I'm from this part of the city. I'm from this part of the city. Um, I'm from that part, and it's in the city and stuff." So I explained to him that was the reason it took so long to get there. Then he was asking me about my dick size or whatever and stuff, and I told him the size of what it was, and he was like, "Oh, it looks really big in this photo. Like you zoomed it in," and I'm like, "Nah, that's real. Like it's real. I don't know what to tell you." Again, the superficialness. Then he was like, "What do you do for work?" And I said, I'm a receptionist. That's what I do." And he just was like, "Oh, okay." Uh, what else was it that he asked me? Oh yeah, he was asking if I was off again today, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm off today." I just found this conversations kind of pointless after a while. I mean, his questions kind of pointless because it's like I can read people's mind. I can read I can read his energy. I know he doesn't want me to be there. I know he doesn't like that I have the blonde hair, and I know he doesn't like that the pictures weren't didn't I guess match my current state. But that's why I did what I did, which that taught me don't fucking if you have like a new image of yourself, put that as your new image. It wasn't like I was using somebody else's pictures. They were still my pictures, but they weren't my current pictures. Like they weren't when I had the blonde hair. So yeah, he just was like at the end he just was like, doing this. He was like, I don't know if I could do anything, man. You look too different from your photos. And now, see, for me, I'm a damn good actor with that shit. I get very quiet and very like listening mode because for one, I'm in a suburban town. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, it's just a suburban town. I'm in a suburban town that I can't just get out of, within regular means. Um, I'm in what else is it? Yeah, I'm in a suburban town that I can't get out of regular means. I'm in this guy's house who I don't even know. Um, I want to keep everything as calm as possible, with as much grace as possible, because you never know. And I got out of there very safely. He, in a way, kind of kicked me out of the house. He was like, "I'm sorry, we can't do anything because, you don't like your pictures." And I just said, "I respect your decision," and it was what it was. So what ended up happening was that after I left his house, I kind of was irritated because it was like raining, and I didn't, I already knew like it just was going to be like awkward waiting outside looking for a bus because there was no buses over there. So I just had to walk across the street to the ice cream shop, and the ice cream shop didn't have Wi-Fi, so all I had was my own Wi-Fi. So I had to use my own Wi-Fi to set up the lift. Um, to get to the suburban town that had the buses and stuff, it was going to be like bare minimum 36 and at maximum $91 to get to from where I was at. So it was very like I had to wait for basically like about an hour just to get a lift ride, and it was very awkward. On the bright side, I went to this nice ice cream shop. The girl was so nice, and I had a conversation with her about like traveling and stuff, and the suburbs, and it does teach you stuff like through all this stuff. It does teach you how like the world works when it comes to like where you live at and how you're raised. Because here's the thing, being like as a person being in the city, I'm able to do a lot of stuff for myself because it's right there. I don't have to like travel 2 miles on a lift ride to go get it, or travel 2 miles in a car to get it. Well, no, I would say travel 10 miles. Like I'd have to travel 10 miles to get a gallon of milk. Um, in the deep suburbs, which is something that like I don't, which is something I wouldn't be able to like, enjoy. Like I get tired of that. So kind of makes you appreciate it because it's like I talked to her and I was like, and she was like, yeah, my parents have to drive me everywhere, and I'm like, that makes sense. But then I also talked to her. I was like, so that means most people work from home, or have a business that's like allowing them to work from home. And she's like, yeah, they do. Um, but on the bright side, it's very quiet up there. Like nothing really goes on. It's an older town. It's nothing really up there. Um, which is a conversation which is a common thing I've heard from like a lot of people with the suburbs because I've always wanted to move to it because I'm such a person where I'm like, I need to get away from all this crime because it's too much crime in Philadelphia. Honestly, it's all this damn crime. It's always stuff going on. It's always something happening, and it becomes very irritating because it's like, I just want to fucking live, but it's all this crime. And then with the suburbs, it's like the opposite issue. It's like it's no crime, nothing really happens. It's just nothing but like constant driving. On the other hand, you know, it's a good lifestyle. It's quiet. It's nice. But, it's a lot of driving and a lot of like you can't just walk to get anywhere. So I can imagine you'd have to have patience. Um so yeah, I can imagine it would be very like irritating. But I managed to, go to this to the part of town that had the buses and stuff. The part of the suburbs that had the buses. Um and I just hung out in that bar for a bit. Um But aside from that, I'm like, it was just a waste of time. Like I spent like a good hour and a half traveling, and while I wasn't angry about it, because like here's the thing, I'm used to traveling. I'm used to it taking a while to get to places. Because me going to the suburbs is not uncommon. Like I do that a lot anyway. But it's just the principle of it. Like it's just annoying to go through to do. Like it's annoying to go somewhere to meet somebody and then have absolutely nothing happen. Like, yes, I enjoy talking to people, but at the same time, like, I don't want to go to some area and then nothing fucking happens. Because I know if I was anybody else, I'd probably be cussing them out. Because how are you going to invite me to your house and send me back home, and I told you I was from the city, and you're not even going to give me, like, any lift? Not that that was a problem, because I already have my own money to pay for that anyway, but I'm just saying, like, you can't waste people's time like that, and this is why, like, people who are usually from the suburbs, I don't really like them, like, trying to, tell me to come to them. I would rather them come to me, but I also understand, as an adult, you have to provide for your own circumstances, your own things and all that. So, completely respect it, but it's just the risk factor for me that these people don't think about. Because let's be honest, at the end of the day, you go to see these people, they don't give no fucks about you. Notice how, like, this guy had me, like, I was 23 miles away. Yeah, I was 23 miles away from his house. And I made it to his house within an hour and a half. And I get there in probably less than 30 minutes to, like, an hour. Maybe even less than that. Probably less than, like, 30 minutes. I got there. We didn't even do anything. Really less than 40 minutes, honestly. Got there, we didn't do anything. The energy was off. It was very awkward. I kind of didn't want to be there anymore, but I'm just like, okay, let's just like talk and maybe do some stuff, maybe. But nah, that didn't happen at all. He turned me away, and all over my hair being blonde, and that just says a lot about your character, right? Like you turn someone away because like they're blonde or because they have like a hair color that you don't like. This says a lot about your character. It says a lot about your character. Like, character speaks volumes, and maybe some people don't care about that, but you will when it affects you. People only care about stuff when it truly affects them. When it doesn't affect you, you don't care. You're not going to care, and I'm guessing it hasn't affected him yet, but he will learn. Because he missed out on, a gem right here. Because I look at myself in the mirror, and I think about stuff, and I'm like, I'm truly a diamond in the rough in some ways. And one of the ways being hold on, my nails in the way. A city guy being very suburban who talks, I guess proper. Like that's rare. I'm not saying that like, other people don't talk proper, but like what I'm saying is like, a lot of like, guys that you come across in the city are like, hood. They're like strict, they're hood, they're hood guys. They have a certain lifestyle. Versus me, where like I like to live a certain way. And that's not me saying I'm better than them or they're better than me. I'm just saying it is what it is. So like, and I know when I've talked to or what I've known of people who typically live in the suburbs, they usually favor someone who's kind of, I guess, similar to them in a way. So there's also that too. So I'm just like, you have literally have a rarity right here. You have a black guy that very suburban esque, and you turn him away because his hair is blonde. Like that says a lot about you, man. But yeah, I guess what could I expect? The guy was like African or whatever, and from what I know of African culture, like they're not used to many alternative type people. I mean, the suburbs isn't either, because from what I've heard, the suburbs is full of like conservative people as well, and it's usually like a older crowd of people that live there, since people in their 40s and up kind of like built it from the ground up in a way. Hence why it's like an older town where nothing really fucking happens. But yeah, just makes you realize, how shallow like Grinder is in general. But I've been wanting to get these videos out for a while just because I've been feeling like I have to. I have so much stuff to talk about, and all I do is fucking game on this channel, and it's like I need different things to kind of like give personality, make myself a little bit more known. Because I feel like all anyone ever sees of me is just me talking on stream, complaining about a character. And I'm like, nah, bigger than that. But yeah, the guy was a wreck. Um, Hopefully one of these days I find somebody on here that I can talk to that isn't gonna just turn me away or not answer text messages and stuff. 'Cause that's like such a common thing these days. But yeah, I rambled on long enough. I'm gonna end the video here. You guys have a great day.